Hi everyone, I'm Sal Jade and I'm a best-selling tarot instructor and founder of the Psychic Healing Academy, and I've been lucky enough to have helped over 80,000 of my students who are nervous beginners and seasoned professionals be able to read tarot like an expert, start tarot businesses and get in touch with their intuitive gifts. In this masterclass, I want to share with you how you can master the tarot quicker, and I'm going to give you one really easy hack that will help reveal more accurate readings for your clients, or for you if you're reading for yourself, in just under 2 minutes. It's perfect for you if you're someone who struggles to remember tarot cards and wish you could learn them quicker, or someone who maybe freezes occasionally in a reading and forgets a card and wants to know how to get back on track quickly. So this is a free excerpt from my best-selling course, How to Read Tarot When You Struggle to Remember the Cards. And if you hang around to the end of this masterclass, I'm going to share some more information about that. If you love to receive these free tarot masterclasses or free tarot business masterclasses and tarot tutorials, please do hit subscribe so that you always get my latest offerings. And if you've got any questions along the way as we go through this, please do pop them on the comments board, as I love to help you as you navigate your tarot journey if you ever feel like you're getting stuck. So let's get started. In this lecture, we're going to explore the first of our quick glance techniques that is going to help you read the tarot more intuitively without having to remember all the card meanings. And our first tip is to know the suit themes backwards. But before we begin, I'd just like to do a quick structural recap of the tarot. So if you've done my Tarot Card Success course, for example, and it's been a while since you've been in there, or if you're brand new to the tarot, or you've studied another course and you have quite forgotten how exactly the structure of the tarot is set out, this is going to help you understand our first technique. So the tarot has 78 cards, and 22 of these cards are made up of the major arcana, which in some decks are called the trumps. And these are our spiritual lessons that we are here on earth to learn and master. There are 56 minor arcana cards, and these cards in the minor realm are things and situations and experiences that are taking place in your life. And they are made up of 4 different suits: the wands, the cups, the swords, and the pentacles. Now, in some decks, these can be called something different. So, for example, in some decks, the wands might be called the rods, or the pentacles may be called the discs, but they generally mean the same thing. Now, within these 56 cards, there is an ace, which is the 0, and we go right up to the 10 of that suit. And there are 4 court cards of that suit as well. So it's a little bit like playing cards, but you have those extra additional court cards in there. So let's start with the wand suit. As you can see, you have the ace to the 10 of wands here, and then you have the 4 court cards: the page of wands, the knight of wands, the queen of wands, and the king of wands. With the cup suit, again, you have the ace of cups to the 10 of cups and the 4 court cards in the cup suit. With the swords, you go from the ace of swords to the 10 of swords and the page right up to the king. And with the pentacles, you start with the ace of pentacles going right up to the 10, and then you end on the king of pentacles. Now, our very first quick technique to learn is to know the suit themes backwards. So that's knowing what each of these individual 4 suits means and how they're different from each other. So if you understand what these 4 different suits represent, and then identify the connection between the themes and the elements that these suits represent, it's much easier than trying to remember each card individually, especially if you're tired or nervous or you feel like you're getting a confusing or a tricky reading. So the Wands card represents the element of fire. So this is our action card. So representing any forward movements or change in our environment or in our career, our travel, our home. It's anything involved in physically relocating or taking action. Cups represents water. This is our emotions. And these are our relationships, our spirituality, and our creativity. The swords represents the element of air, and these are our mental processes, so our planning, our research, our mindset, our egos and fears, and knowledge. And pentacles represents earth. These are the practical and material matters that we experience here on earth, like our finances, business, and career matters. Now, for more intuitive reads when you deal your cards and spread them out, before you start to individually interpret them or try to remember what each one is, you can get the overall feel of the reading simply by counting the suits to see what suit is dominant. This can also reveal if there is a balance or an imbalance within your client at the moment. So, for example, if there are too many swords in a reading, it doesn't matter what the question is. We can see straight away that the source of your client's issues is going to be their mental processes. So perhaps their fear or their ego or the way that they are intellectually processing things at the time. Counting the suits can also reveal that the client might not get what they want straight away, so other priorities may come in that are for their best and highest good. So for example, if they're asking a love question and they get a massive dominance of Pentacles card, it suggests right now that love is not going to be the most important thing for them to be mastering at the moment, and they might need to be looking at their career and their business issues and mastering that for now. So let's start with our sample client, Greta, and do a quick 3-month spread for her, which is just the past, the present, and the future. So in the past, we can see we have the 3 of Pentacles. In the present, we can see the 2 of Pentacles. And in the near future, we see the 9 of Pentacles. So this, for me, indicates straight away by looking at Greta's reading, before you even have to analyse each card or panic that you don't remember what's going on, you can see that Greta's life is being massively influenced by either her finances or her career or both right now. And so that's what's going on for her right now. And this is incredibly important, even if she knows it or not. Let's look at David. He has pulled the 4 of Cups, the 8 of Cups, and the 2 of Cups. So this suggests that his situation is being strongly influenced by his emotions. So there may be some emotional discord or emotional imbalance. And these priorities may be about love or healing his emotions. And it may be what he most needs to be focused on at the moment. Now, Dan has come with a very specific question. What do I need to know about my job? And he's gotten 2 sword cards, the 9 of Swords and the 5 of Swords, and he's got the 2 of Wands, which, as I mentioned as well, is also a career and action and movement card. So the verdict here is that his current situation and his past situation are being influenced by his mental processes. So maybe there's some blocks or problems there. And in the future, there's going to be a shift that's going towards that more fiery and that action-taking energy. But right now, it feels like the focus is going to be on dealing with his mental processes and these fears and his egos and how he can get through the next few weeks. So you might be like, well, okay, I get that, and I can see that's happening, but Sal, that's not much of a reading. That's not very detailed. Who's going to be happy with that, or who's going to pay me for that reading? So let's go even deeper now and look at the quick glimpse number 2, which is the intuitive feeling of the card. This reinforces for you what is going on with your client. So you can go deeper by looking at the expressions on the faces of the people who are in the card, or the feel of the card, or the environment of the card. Like, does it feel like an angry card to you, or a happy card? Does it feel like a safety card, a joyous card, or does it make you freak out and feel a bit uncomfortable, or you can't even quite assess how your energy feels? Does it feel more like a negative or a positive card? So it's really important to start looking at what you are feeling when you're seeing a card, especially if you're struggling to remember the definition of. By tuning into how you feel about the card, it's going to mirror your client's journey, and you're straight away going to feel a bit of an affinity with them, as well as kind of feel like what they're feeling. So you're going to be more like, oh, I can see what their journey's going to be like now. So let's take a look at the difference between these 2 cards here. On the left, we have the 5 of Cups. And you can actually see a person looking very grim and very morbid, and you get that they're probably deep in grief. They're wearing a black cloak, and there's 3 of Cups knocked over in front of them, which suggests that they feel like all that's ahead is just empty or grief-stricken emotions. And they're also turning their back on the 2 cups behind them, so they're turning their back on their emotions. And there's just this very dire sense of the nadir, like an awful kind of feeling. So let's now look at that other card, the 10 of Cards, which is almost the complete opposite. We've got people dancing and we've got people twirling. We've got the beautiful cups in a rainbow above them, and the people just look like they're celebrating and they're happy. So it's a much more emotionally gorgeous feeling card. So straight away you can get a feeling of what your client's journey is going to be, from stricken to joyous. Now, if you're still saying, but Sal, I'm still not feeling it as much and I'm a bit worried, like, what does this mean? Am I never going to get it? Am I never going to be able to read more intuitively without knowing every single card? Or if you're starting to panic and think, I didn't see any of that, let's just dial it back to something very simple. Ask yourself the question, how does it look like the people feel about the themes? So how do the people feel about the suits? Because most of the cards will have people in them. So have a look at what their relationship is to the elements and the suits. Or if there are no people in them, like some decks don't have people in them, what are the suits doing? And if you have different cards to the Rider-Waite one, that's not a problem at all. Just look and see what the people are doing or how they are reacting to the suits. So, for example, let's take a look at the Wands cards. You have this man and he's just struggling to hold up this massive pile of wands. It's almost like he's being blinded by them. So that's his fire energy, and he's trying to prop up his fire energy, his ability to take action and his ability to do action. And he's really struggling. But you can see here, in opposition, in the Six of Wands, you've got a man riding a horse, the horse is charging forward, and he's almost in like a victory parade. You've got the people behind him cheering him on, and they're two totally different feelings. So on the one hand, you would have a client who is feeling like they're just overburdened, overwhelming, struggling to prop up their fire energy, their action energy. And for the second person, it's almost like they're being swept along with joy and victory, and they're able to make plans and they're able to feel like they have won. And let's take the swords, for example. You've got someone who is just absolutely flat out on the ground with 10 swords stabbed into his back. Like the mental energy has just finally done him in, or someone else's mental energy has finally done him in and just he's completely face planted. Ego and fears and mental energy has totally face planted him. Whereas this more optimistic image of the Ace of Wands, you've got that upright sword and the hand is glowing and you've got the crown on the top, and it feels almost like a brand new spark of inspiration and the much more optimistic card. So let's go back to Greta with those three cards. And let's start with the first one, the Three of Pentacles. So we've got this church, which traditionally, even if you don't believe in God or churches or the Christianity version of it, it's traditionally in history been a place of stability, a foundation and a rock that's in the community, especially, as I said, in past times. And taking place within this, we have two clergymen who are listening to an expert. So he could be a well-placed trader or an architect or someone who is telling them about how they're going to improve the church. And there's a sense of togetherness and building a sense of stronger foundations together, of learning and growing and the process of establishing something strong. And everyone seems very engaged in this process. No one's looking very distressed or suppressed or unhappy, and no one feels like they're fighting. And for me, this card is very much that feeling of collectively learning or learning under some kind of new source of wisdom that feels very earthy and stable. It doesn't have the higher success of some of those higher cards in the Pentacle, but it's more about making that steady progress and the foundations are starting to be established, especially after the decisions that you've made and taken in the Ace and the Two to start a new project, and being able to learn how to create the financial stability of something that is practical and stable. However, the middle one, we can see this person is juggling and the storm is very rough behind them, and it's like they're kind of struggling to stay balanced. They've got one foot in the air and they're juggling the pentacles. So this may suggest there's some financial uncertainty for Greta and that she's not feeling very comfortable. And this may make you feel a bit funny in your tummy and maybe even remember what it's felt like for yourself to juggle money. And then in the final card, we've got this feeling of joy and abundance. And there's a woman smiling and she's feeling very proud. She's wearing wealthy robes. And it's almost like she's kind of patting her Pentacles, like she's mastered them. They've got the bird that symbolizes the freedom, and she's almost a bit like tra-la-la. So she's a bit feeling like she's had victory and joy and she's financially free. And it's a totally different feeling to the other two cards. So you can kind of get that feeling and that mirror of Greta's journey of in the past, how it is now, and where she's heading. So the verdict could be that yes, there are some positive money cards in there. There's a little bit of uncertainty now and a bit of a juggling act, but it feels like the end result means she's going to get some financial freedom and she's going to build some much stronger foundations and to stick to her current path and not give up. Now, let's go back to David. So with these Four of Cups, this man has his arms crossed and he's feeling very sulky. And even though there's a hand offering him an emotional opportunity, so that chalice of emotions, and an opportunity to open up the heart, it's almost like he just doesn't want to even look at it. And he's also ignoring the current 3 cups that are upright in front of him. And there's almost this feeling of unhappiness and feeling unsatisfied, and the emotions just feel like he's not really that grateful, and he's maybe, feeling like the world's not really on his side. Now, the middle card feels almost much darker, and there's a feeling of these looming mountains in the background, and he's just walking away from his emotions. There's a big pile of cups there, and he's heading off towards that gloomy mountain. So for me, when I look at the card, I feel and I tune into the card and get that energy that he's just leaving to go off on a quest, and it's probably a bit mysterious and definitely probably quite scary. So it can represent that dark point of leaving a situation that you're comfortable and familiar with, and that, however, is no longer emotionally serving you, and you're walking away. And then in the future, we have a much brighter image. We have 2 people facing each other on equal standing, and it feels like there's joy there. They're kind of clinking their cups together, which traditionally is feeling like a bit of a cheers or a celebration with our friends. But there's just 2 of them, so it kind of suggests a heart-centered union between 2 people coming together. So the verdict for me is that yes, it's been rocky for David, and he's probably going to walk away from something that's no longer making him happy. But he is going to move towards something much better. And probably the only way he's going to get to that better is by walking off and setting off on this quest. Now let's return to Dan. So we can see the first card is a very unhappy card indeed. And you've got someone sitting up in bed and they've just absolutely buried their head in their hands. It's almost like they're in denial. And the swords, which are the mental activity, are just attacking and attacking and attacking him. And there's this feeling that maybe they can't even sleep, and this mental strain and suffering, feeling like they're being attacked by their own thoughts. And it's a very scary and an uneasy kind of card. It certainly doesn't feel like it's anyone who's enjoying their life at this moment. Now, in the present, we've got this continuing into a battle scene. So we've got these ego battles and this mental battle with the swords, and this feeling of the terrible consequences where the swords have been laid down and someone's almost looking a bit sly and victorious. The clouds aren't looking particularly friendly, and you can see someone in the distance there who's also burying their head in their hands. So there feels like there's been like almost a horrible victory and a whole lot of mental attacks coming in the future. Like it's a totally different feeling. And a whole lot of mental attacks coming. Now, in the third card, there's a shift, a more optimistic feeling. This person is grasping the wand and they're looking out over the horizon and the sea, and it feels like they're a little bit more in charge of what's going on. They've got the globe in their hand and they're surveying their kingdom, and they're thinking, what else is out there? And they feel like they're almost ready to step off that ledge. So for me, I go, okay, well, right now, Dan is deeply embroiled in these mental processes and he's really struggling with it. But it is going to shift into more fire movement, where I would assume he's probably going to leave his job. So it looks like he is going to step off into the horizon and try something new. However, I would caution him that right now, it's probably not the best time to consider a move, in case that's what he's thinking. I'd say, look, just get through these battles, learn the lessons not to get into these fights and these dramas. But yes, in the future, in the next few months, it's highly likely you will make a decision to leave. However, we want you to be in a much better headspace, which is not right now. So don't think about it now. You're still in the battleground, but it feels like you will in the near future leave. So let's now take a recap of these 2 different techniques. Know the suit themes backwards. Understand the connection between the themes and the elements, and reinforce this by the intuitive feeling of the card. And don't worry, if you still haven't grasped this, I'm going to be doing this a lot more for you later. And then look at what the people's relationship with the suit is, if there are people in the cards, or what the suits and elements are doing. So I hope that's helped you be able to understand what is going on for your client in under 2 minutes with this very quick tip and this very easy way of being able to connect what's happening with just that very quick hack. Now, if you'd love to discover more hacks and tips to master tarot quickly, I can highly recommend my best-selling course, How to Read Tarot When You Struggle to Remember the Cards. This course is ideal if you've tried learning tarot before and you just can't remember the cards, or if you want to read the tarot more intuitively. It contains 5 key secrets to quick look readings and being able to learn the tarot faster. So you've just learnt one of them today. There's another 4 in this course. I also explore for you combination cards and how some cards work together to give you an exact definition really quickly. You'll look at how numbers and the tarot work in the minor arcana. You'll learn how to do more intuitive tarot readings, and how tarot can heal you and help heal others, especially if you're a professional reader or want to be a professional. It contains a tarot workbook to help you navigate the tarot more intuitively and make stronger connections with the tarot card. There's a certificate of completion, and there's 30 days to try it to see if you like it. Now, if you're a complete beginner and you've never learned tarot before and you're really interested in it, then I can highly recommend my best-selling course, Tarot Card Success. This is the highest selling tarot course on Udemy, and it's ideal for beginners and professionals who want to do a refresher of the tarot card meanings. This is a foundation level course, and it contains individual interpretations of all 78 cards for love, money, business, career, and general readings. It gives you the best spreads that you can use in the tarot, as well as information on psychic protection and how to do ethical readings, and there's over 50,000 students enrolled. It has a private optional Facebook study group where you can practice your readings and also get feedback on your readings. And there's a certificate of completion, and you have 30 days also to try this course. Now, how do you know which of these 2 courses is best for me if you're interested in learning tarot? So Tarot Card Success is best if you don't know any tarot card meanings, or maybe you've just been on YouTube and you've tried a bit, or maybe flicked through a few books, but you actually haven't learnt all of the tarot meanings. So it's everything you need to get started with learning tarot. How to Read Tarot When You Struggle to Remember the Cards is best if you've done a course like my Tarot Card Success Foundation course or another similar course, and maybe you've tried learning before, but you find it really challenging to remember all the card interpretations. Or if you sometimes freeze in a reading and you don't know what a card means and you kind of freak out about how the cards all connect together. Or if you just doubt your psychic abilities and are looking for more ways to read tarot more intuitively. So thank you so much for watching this masterclass. And if you'd like to know more about the 2 courses that are mentioned here, do check the description for the links, or you can visit saljade.com/Udemy courses. And again, if you'd like to get more tarot tutorials like this, do click on subscribe so you always get my latest offerings. And if you've got any questions for me, pop them on the comments board. Thanks again for watching.